Hello, Star Trek fans. Welcome to ReBinge It. This is the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast. My name is Kim.
And my name is James.
And we are rebinging Star Trek Voyager from the beginning, one episode at a time. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are on Season 4, Episode 14, Message in a Bottle. This episode aired January 21st, 1998. Before we talk about this one, two things.
Yes.
One, so far we've made so many mistakes. We just started. Has it been 3 months since we recorded? No, it hasn't. It's been 1 week. I don't know what's gone. Why has everything gone wrong?
I don't understand this computer stuff.
Oh my gosh. And then second thing, anything to say about last week's episode, which was Waking Moments, the one where everybody was going into a dream state. We didn't know if you were awake or asleep. And then there was the moon.
Yes.
Anything about that one?
Okay. First of all, why, on the Paramount description, does it say Waking Moments with apostrophe S?
Oh.
Why does this have an apostrophe?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It must be a typo.
Yeah.
What does the moment own?
I think this might be time to bring up Bob the Angry Flowers' Quick Guide to the Apostrophe.
Okay.
It's important educational reading.
Oh, I thought you were going to give us the lesson. You're saying that's something people should read? Is that a whole book?
No, it's just a Bob the Angry Flower Quick Guide.
Should we put the link in the show notes?
Oh, I think we should. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I thought you were going to give us a whole thing about it. Okay.
But other than that, the episode was very mid.
I liked it, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I gave it a thumbs up, but yeah, you thought it was mid.
Yeah, it was a neutral.
It feels like so long ago. Well, this one today will be interesting. This is consistently ranked as a pretty popular episode, and I have some opinions.
Yeah, and this episode does feature a guest star who I guess was popular at the time because like news radio was kind of a hit show. But yeah, their reputation means the episode kind of hasn't aged well in some ways.
No. I have it in my notes later when he appears, but he is a individual with a very problematic history. Most of the things that happen and become public are after this.
Yeah.
But that, of course, now means we watch it with all of that knowledge, and it just feels gross.
Often the downside, yeah.
It's a little bit like watching Star Trek the Motion Picture and trying to pretend like that one guy isn't disgusting in it.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
Not going to say his name because it is pointless, and I don't want to give him any more attention. And, I mean, the same is kind of true here, so he's in the way. This is where they should do something like when they put Tig Notaro into that movie. And they just like replace the other person.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let's just put Tig Notaro in there. I mean, they could have based the EMH2 on Jet Reno. Why not?
Oh, that would actually be really funny.
She certainly had the right attitude to be the surly holographic doctor.
That character does tick that box, yes.
I say let's do it. Come on, Star Trek watchers, you know, this is where all the engineers are. You can do it. Somebody go do that. And then we will rewatch this episode with Tig Notaro in it.
Let me set up a quick Sora account and we'll give it a go.
Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, the one that does the pictures I've seen, yeah. Or the little videos, actually, yeah. So you have the notes. Over to you.
We open on B'Elanna complaining bitterly about 7 of 9, describing her as all Borg. And she's doing this to Chakotay. I feel there's going to be some leadership stuff here. It does sound like 7 doesn't really follow Starfleet's normal operating procedures. Mm-hmm. And Chakotay does remind B'Elanna, you're the senior officer on this ship. Act like one. Mm-hmm. At this moment, 7 asks Chakotay to come to Astrometrics, which actually sounds more like an order.
Yeah. Doesn't she just say report to Astrometrics?
Yes. I do think it was funny when B'Elanna tells him how she locked the door to Astrometrics so she couldn't get in.
Yeah, that was funny.
Anyway, on the way, Chakotay catches up to Janeway, who also says she'd been summoned. So I think 7's just very direct.
Yeah.
In Astrometrics, 7 has increased the range of their sensors and detected a Starfleet vessel. And into the opening credits.
Now, I would say a couple of things about leadership in the opening scene.
Yes.
Chuckles is, I don't know, he's being a little maybe flippant about it.
Yeah.
Not showing tremendous leadership. However...
Not showing any direction.
Well, I don't disagree at the end of the scene when he was just like, you're a senior officer, you need to deal with it. She is not a child. I have before told people who are managers or leaders, or senior leaders in some way, I have before said to them, I'm not your parent, okay? You, as a person in this position, you need to find your way through it. And maybe that person is being rude or that person is doing something you don't like. It's literally your job in your position to find a way through it. It's not your job to tell me so that I go and tell that person to be nicer to you. That's just not how it works. So I respect what he's saying. I wish he almost would have leaned a little bit more into that and just said something like what I said, which was, yeah, I get it. She's not following your rules, but it's your job to make it work. So go make it work. At the same time, you have to sort of feel for her a little bit because this is a person who has really invaded her space. She's not an official member of Starfleet.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have a rank. She was told to listen to B'Elanna, but she's not listening to her. And this is also the captain's special project, so she might not feel like she can be the one who goes and tells her off, right?
Yeah, it can be a problem if senior management has a favored child in an organization that you have to deal with. Yeah.
That can be a real problem for sure. So if she doesn't feel comfortable going to Janeway and saying, I'm trying to deal with her, but I just don't know how, like, can you help me? Or something like that. Or even if she had said that to Chakotay. But it's just the sort of whining that you get tired of. But I'm also going to say this conflict between the two female characters irritates me. And I remember when we watched it, it irritated me then. It is such a stereotype. And I think about when Ted Lasso started, when I first started watching it, I was like, oh, great. 2 women fighting, blah, in the workplace. It's just like not my experience in life, so I didn't want to watch it. And then, of course, it turned out to not be that at all. But that is what it is here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what a surprise. The 2 women can't get along. And I just find it aggravating. Boring, to quote Tom.
Back to the show, and we find the ship Seven detected is actually in the Alpha Quadrant. She's discovered a large network of relay stations, alien in origin, and apparently abandoned. Okay, I absolutely love this bit. I really want to know more about why she thought they were abandoned, who built them.
Right.
We find out later who claims ownership, but this thing is vast because they show it like on the little stellar map, and it's huge. I mean, it goes all the way to the Alpha Quadrant. I mean, that's a hell of a distance.
Yeah, we don't really learn anything at all about it.
Yeah.
Except it exists, and she thinks it's abandoned.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe, I don't know, I guess she wasn't seeing the kinds of signals going through it that she would have expected.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But it is cool. And there's the moment where she tells Chuckles and Janeway that it's a Starfleet ship, and you get that little tiny moment of hope that we haven't really seen since season 1, where they're both sort of gasping, like, right? And that was kind of fun.
Well, it's not all plain sailing, as the ship they're detecting is moving out of range, and they need to adjust their systems to match the relay station, and they've only got 41 minutes to make contact. A clearly excited Janeway orders Chakotay, get it done.
Yep.
Personally, I think this is important enough that Janeway should be sending a ship-wide message to all the crew saying, drop everything and get to work on this now. Everybody who can possibly be involved, work on it.
I think, though, at this point, she thought it was going to be easy to just send a message. They didn't know it wasn't going to work, right?
Yeah. On the bridge, everyone important seems to be working on it, and they're down to just 16 minutes. Harry is able to open a channel, but unfortunately the signal doesn't get through. Seven determines that as it moves across the network, the signal degrades. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because is it a very lossy data protocol that they're using, or is it the vast distance? We don't get anything like that. I'm thinking, are they thinking in analog terms as well, of sending an analog radio signal?
And it deteriorates.
Yeah. We're sending an AM signal and it's not getting through.
I don't know enough about the science of it, but I'm going to guess it has something to do with the distance. Because it doesn't make a ton of sense to me that they're going to send something else that would also suffer from degrading.
Right.
But it's a little hand-wavy.
Yeah, it's very hand-wavy, because is your underlying protocol so bad that it loses data, but then when you send something that contains data, it makes it across?
It would have helped, I think, if the signal that they did send didn't turn out perfectly on the other side. Yeah. That would have been funny. but that's not what happened. Like, he was a couple inches shorter or something funny like that. That would have cracked me up.
B'Elanna comes up with an interesting idea to use a holographic data stream, specifically the Doctor. And quite rudely, B'Elanna just goes straight to sickbay and downloads the Doctor to the mobile emitter, without even telling him anything.
There's no time.
So the idea is to send the Doctor to the other Federation ship. And like I was saying, are they sure this won't degrade the Doctor's program and destroy him, like the other transmissions have?
They are not sure. Right? Because doesn't Janeway say, with some luck, this will work?
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah. It's so risky. It's so risky.
Yeah, she says to the Doctor when they're about to start, good luck. And I loved how he replied with, there's that word again.
Yeah.
I just question how good their transmission protocols are. So they send the Doctor, and we go to a space shot of a very spiffy-looking Federation vessel. It's an NX something, because I can't read all the number here. But as you know, NX signifies it's an experimental ship. So that's making it even cooler. And it has 4 warp nacelles.
Didn't that look a little bit like whatever ship Janeway was on in season 1 of Prodigy?
Oh, that was the Dauntless.
Didn't it? It looked similar.
Really?
I thought it just had the same shape, but I pay virtually no attention to ships. They're like stardates to me.
Oh, you are right.
Oh.
It does. I see what you mean. It does have that similar shaping on the bridge, the hull, the upper hull section of it.
Okay.
So I would say saucer, but it isn't really a saucer section, but that's the equivalent.
No, it's like the pointy part.
The Doctor's hologram has made it as he appears in the sickbay, and we learn the ship is called the Prometheus, and we are indeed in the Alpha Quadrant. Unfortunately, the Doctor can't raise any of the crew or the bridge, and we see what looks like a burn mark on the wall, and the Doctor finds a dead member of the crew. And then a second one, who appears seriously injured. A lot of blood here.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor brings him round, and he tells him, the Romulans have taken over the ship, and then immediately dies. And that makes me question, maybe the Doctor shouldn't have given him some kind of stimulant to wake him up and should have rather treated him first.
Well, I don't know what he gave him. They didn't really cover that. I did notice right away that they have the different uniforms on.
Yes, they have the later generation of Trek uniforms. I thought that was a nice touch, yes.
When the Doctor goes back, he should be like, our uniforms are wrong.
Oh, yeah. Get everybody to change the uniform. That would be fun.
Yeah. You could do that at this point. You don't have to stick with the old ones.
If they send the Doctor back, they could send all the latest Starfleet rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Back to another flyby of the excellent-looking Prometheus, and we see it's the NX 59650. And the bridge appears to be full of Romulans. At least 4 of them, anyway.
Those Romulans, they get everywhere.
Yeah. None of them are particularly senior Romulans, because the shoulders are all relatively subdued. None of them have the super wide shoulders, so...
All their clothes do look bulky. That made me laugh. It's like, is that comfortable? And the main guy, it looks like his hair is plastic.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't even...
It's very traditional Romulan hair.
Do you know who that commander is? Did you look it up?
No, I did not.
Really?
No.
Well, then I have a delightful surprise for you.
Okay. Back to the Doctor, and the computer tells him there are 27 Romulans on board and no surviving Starfleet crew. Should have treated that guy before he woke him up.
Yeah, that is bad news. Because he's like, are there any Starfleet personnel on the ship? None that are alive. Like, oh, thanks.
I do feel this is the point where you need that Starfleet emergency vent all the atmosphere command.
But you wouldn't put it in the hands of the holographic Doctor.
Really?
Not the one that's on there.
True, this is an experimental ship, so you might not have put everything on board in place yet.
Yeah, exactly.
The computer is giving the doc a brief overview of the ship, describing it as having a multi-vector assault mode. But this is interrupted by the ship coming under fire from a second Federation vessel. So it sounds like somebody knows the Romulans have stolen it.
Right.
And we don't have to wait very long to find what this new technology is, as the Romulan in charge orders engage multi-vector assault mode. And the ship separates into 3 pieces. The Romulan commander ordering the computer to target the Starfleet vessel and into a space battle. I'm liking this episode already.
Wonder why they stopped doing this, letting the ships break up into multiple pieces, because then you got 3 ships.
That's true. And I think that's the entire point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice what's kind of cool in the little space battle they have, the top section of Prometheus, it has its own little mini warp cell at the top of the ship that is lifted out. I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yep.
Bad news for Starfleet. as two parts of the ship shoot and disable the other Starfleet vessel. And the battle sequence was way too short. I think we needed at least a little bit more flying around.
And you don't really get an outcome.
Yeah.
Like, did they just disable it? Because they didn't destroy it.
No, it did look like it disabled, but it was a really fast cut.
Yeah.
Those CGI effects were expensive then.
Yeah, don't look too closely.
Well, the battle's over, and one of the Romulans on the bridge was actually injured. So another takes him to sickbay. And I notice we don't see the reintegration of the ship.
Yeah, there's only so much budget. So should we talk here about who that commander is being played by?
Yes.
It is Yours is a Superior.
Really?
It's Judson Scott, Joaquin from The Wrath of Khan.
It's Joaquin?
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There was something about the way he was speaking. I was like, who is that? And I looked it up, and yeah, that's who it is.
That's cool that they brought him back. In the sickbay, the doctor can't get access to the comms array. Nigel Barrett keeps on saying he needed level 4 security clearance. As the two Romulans enter, the doctor imitates being a basic medical hologram, completely convincing them that there's nothing wrong, and he starts giving a diagnosis of the injured Romulan. Soon as the other Romulan is gone, the doctor starts the EMH program, and we see it's no longer based on Zimmerman.
Right. This guy has hair. I thought the doctor sort of hiding and then pretending to be the EMH, I thought that was maybe his best sort of pivot and improvisation that he did in the entire episode. I really liked that. And he also did the thing that he did with Seska, way back in...
Right, yes.
Was it Basics? Yeah, when she's just like, why should I trust you? And he's like, well, this is my job. This is what I do. And then as soon as she leaves, he completely stops worrying about that patient and tries to figure out how to solve the other problem.
He hides behind his desk when they first come in and then just stands up. I thought that was pretty funny.
I did enjoy that. Though I was concerned that he was doing all of his planning and discussions right in front of that patient. By the way, that guy walked in. So he was conscious when he came in. So was he not listening? Maybe the doctor knocked him out. They didn't show that. He didn't administer a hypo spray or anything. So, I mean, that dude was conscious and we were just pretending like he was a mannequin in this scene.
Well, the new EMH is pretty rude, describing the doctor as the Mark I, the inferior program. So they clearly have the same base programming, I think.
Yeah, they certainly have similar bedside manners, that's for sure. And it's so strange in this scene where when they cut like to a commercial or when they change scenes, the music they're playing, every now and then Star Trek will do this in the 90s. It's almost like music you would hear in a cozy murder show. It's so strange. Maybe because the drama is different, but I just remember thinking, what is with the music in this episode?
Well, I feel that's because with this episode, they're playing it, I think, a little more into the humor aspect of it.
Yeah, it's more of a comedy.
Yeah. The EMH sees the Romulan and tries to initiate an intruder alert. But the doctor explains the ship has been taken over by Romulans. And then it immediately orders, computer, shut down the EMH.
Oh, that made me laugh, too.
That was funny.
Yep. Like, this is not a job for me.
Yeah, it's a little bit cowardly.
Yep.
The doctor starts it back up and learns of the Dominion War, but we don't get any explanation of it.
Oh my gosh. Also funny. Yes.
Nice touch.
It says long story.
Yes.
It's a good example of where he should just sit down and watch this, and they start playing the episodes of Deep Space Nine.
With the Deep Space Nine intro, that would have been great.
Yes, that would have been funny.
Well, the doctor wants the EMH to help get back the ship, but the EMH is very cowardly, telling the doctor he's not even been field tested and not designed for this kind of duty.
What's he doing in deep space then?
I know, why would you put an experimental medical hologram onto a ship, a prototype ship that you're actually testing? What if there's an accident more likely to happen if you're in a prototype ship, and that's the point you discover that, the EMH doesn't work?
Yeah.
Maybe the medical officer was actually killed, so they never figured they'd need the EMH.
Yeah, but that's
then
the point.
Why would you even put an EMH on there if you don't know if it'll actually work?
Yes, I agree, especially if it is on a prototype.
Yeah.
And then secondly, in deep space. This means you were sent way out a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
So
way out.
so you knew. I mean, at the very least, they should have been field testing him.
Yeah.
While they were getting there.
Right. And, with, maybe the original EMH as a backup.
Right.
That could have been actually funny if you'd also had a second EMH. which was the original Doctor.
Oh, that would have been funny. Yeah.
The Doctor explains to the EMH that he's been through his share of challenges. Alien invasions, macroviral infestation, traveled in time. The EMH seems very skeptical about all of this. He is absolutely just as snooty as the Doctor, even lecturing the Doctor on how medical science has evolved.
Oh, I liked when he said that they'd evolved beyond leeches.
It reminded me of Star Trek IV, the whale movie, where Bones gets upset with the doctors in the lift.
Yeah. Regrows the kidney.
Back to Voyager, and they're all just waiting around. Everybody seems very tense, like very tense. And Janeway tells Chakotay she's working on a letter home, including one to Mark, probably asking, "Is the dog okay?"
That would be my guess.
Chakotay does tell her they shouldn't get their hopes up. They've been through this before. And then after Janeway gives him a look, he admits he just finished a letter to his cousin. Gotta admit, this would be kind of gut-wrenching, seemingly to get a chance to communicate with home and not knowing if it's going to work out. It's kind of, I feel that's the epitome of it's the hope that kills you. Back to sickbay on Voyager, and we start the weird B story here. Tom is actually filling in for the Doctor. There are 2 patients suffering from heartburn from Neelix's cooking, as apparently he made a super hot chili as he's been brushing up on human foods.
I actually respect what he says, because he's like, oh, if we're going to get back to Earth, I need some marketable job skills.
Yes.
I thought that was kind of funny.
This is interesting because Neelix really is super upbeat.
Yeah.
He's almost the face of optimism.
Yeah, he is. And he's also the one who has really bought into the whole thing, right? He's drunk the Kool-Aid about Starfleet.
Oh, right.
And, you know, he's just 100% in. And I don't know, I kind of like it here.
I do like
that. At the same time, it's like, well, you don't really need marketable job skills because it's different, right? They've evolved beyond money or whatever. But I did take note that he could work at Grandpa Joe's.
Yes. Yeah, he could certainly help out there.
Because I never understood why anybody would work as a busboy or a bus person, I should say, at a restaurant if you didn't need money.
It's also pretty good that in 2 weeks, he's gotten over his existential crisis.
Oh, yeah. That was weeks ago. The other thing that's funny here is how terrible Tom's hair is.
Oh, I didn't notice
I don't know what in the heck. It's a mess. Terrible.
Back to the Prometheus, which I think looks really cool. And the Doctor is determined they're traveling at warp 9.9, heading straight for Romulan space. The EMH is very defeatist, but the Doctor doesn't give up without a fight. And having listened to this podcast, jump straight to Kim's idea, gas everybody on the ship.
Yes! Finally! We are going to gas someone. How many years have I been saying this?
I would have just vented it, but I will accept gassing them.
Well, they don't have access to every system. So if they can't vent them, let's just get the gas in the air. I like it.
Another upgrade on the Prometheus is that there are holo emitters on every deck. The Doctor goes into brag mode about his mobile holo emitter, telling the EMH about his away missions and even having sexual relations, explaining he made an addition to the program.
2 things. First, stop bragging about your mobile emitter. This is how you get into trouble. Just stop that. And secondly, I cannot watch the scene in this conversation. It has a completely creepy overtone now.
Yeah.
Sometimes Star Trek does some weird things.
I did notice here the Doctor doesn't mention anything about the Darkling.
I know. Yeah. Let's leave that out.
The plan is to distribute Neurocene gas, but they need to get to environmental control on the bridge, which, to quote the EMH, is swarming with Romulans, leading to the EMH trying to deactivate himself again. Instead, the Doctor orders him to Jeffrey's Tube 17 with the gas and sends him on his way. There's a lot of sort of fish out of water humor here, with the EMH lacking the sort of skills that the Doctor has actually learned.
Like how to crawl into a tunnel? I mean, I don't know. It's a little silly.
The Doctor makes it to the bridge and concocts a story about the Romulans being exposed to a virus, and the commander lets him do some scans. I thought this was awfully trusting for a Romulan. I'm assuming this guy is so afraid of failure and what that would result in that he's letting the Doctor do it. I mean, the Romulans are totally paranoid, and I don't think you would have a very good career if you failed in anything.
Well, if they had studied this ship, they probably knew that there was a holographic doctor. And if he just knows or thinks that that's what this doctor is because they hadn't seen it, he would think that he was harmless.
Oh, yeah.
And then the doctor, of course, being a terrible spy, doesn't actually do the scans he's pretending to do. Like, you still could have done the scans.
Yeah, he still could have done the scans. And
yeah. Was he over there going, like making the noise?
Oh, he probably was. Yeah, he was making the noise and everything. While the doctor is scanning, the commander orders the helm to change course. He says they're not going to Romulus. They're giving the ship to the Tal Shiar, who I thought at this point they were all dead.
Well, apparently not.
The doctor makes an attempt to get the environmental controls, but the commander interrupts him and looks at his tricorder, noting he's not made any readings at all. You should at least fake the readings.
Yeah. Bad spy.
Back to the B story on Voyager, with Tom filling in for the doctor, and apparently there's more of Neelix's chili victims. Tom starts whinging to Harry about being stuck in sickbay. He wants to be back at the helm, and tries to convince him to build a new hollow doctor, just in case the old one doesn't make it back and Tom's stuck with this.
Tom was not this annoying, right, at the beginning?
No.
Aye.
Now in Astrometrics, Seven and B'Elanna are talking. B'Elanna tells Seven how she put some of the crew on edge, and Seven accepts this, saying, I was Borg. I elicit apprehension. I did like that line. B'Elanna seems to be having a strange difficulty putting into words what she's trying to say, and finally blurts out, you're just rude, which is pretty funny coming from a Klingon.
Pretty rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it in one of the Trek books about the Klingons that their traditional friendly greeting translates literally to, what do you want?
Yeah. And also, just in the moment, she's trying to tell Seven that she's rude while being impolite herself.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's not a good way to go about it. And if you are going to show leadership, give constructive feedback with specific examples. Like, here's an example of something you said or did that if you had done it a little bit differently, it would have been received better. Right. It's not just that you're rude. It's that if you want to be a part of this crew and you want to get the most out of people, don't do this, right? Here's a perfect example. Right. And it's just, again, this is just badly handled how they have written it.
It was painfully clunky.
Here's a good idea. Throw completely away the Harry and Tom waste of time story and make this story better.
Make this the full B story.
Yeah. But instead, it's almost like a joke. And I generally don't take leadership stuff lightly.
B'Elanna explains that Seven doesn't use the normal niceties of please or thank you, or even asking permission, and that just comes off as insulting. She asks Seven to remember that people are not just a bunch of drones.
Again, coming from a Klingon.
Seven doesn't quite seem to get it, but before they go any further, they receive a transmission from the relay station. On screen, we see an alien that looks weirdly kind of armored, like it's wearing like an armored suit, and tells them, Voyager is using their technology. This belongs to the Hirogen. Terminate your link. B'Elanna tries to explain, but too late. Seven reports the link has been severed. Into the dramatic ad break.
And it was funny to see in the credits that Hirogen character was played by Tiny Ron, who was on Deep Space Nine several times.
Yeah, he was the
protector of the Grand Nagus. And I think he played something else too, because he's just this huge actor. Yeah.
Actually, enormous guy.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Prometheus, and the Romulan commander is interrogating the Doctor. He's convinced someone is operating the Doctor's program. I guess that's probably understandable if you're used to relatively straightforward holograms.
Yeah. Well, this is the paranoia you were looking for.
Yeah. The Romulans do figure out the Doctor was transmitted aboard and ask if his mission was to spy on them, or did it include sabotage?
Sabotage.
Why would he be spying on them if they'd stolen a Starfleet ship?
Well, to learn where it was going, to find the Tal Shiar or whatever.
Oh, so it could be a... Oh, wow.
Get some secret codes.
I guess if it's real Romulan paranoia, it would be Starfleet let them steal the ship because they wanted to find who the Tal Shiar were.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now you're thinking.
Yeah, that's...
Now you're thinking like a Romulan.
Thank you. The second Romulan suggests a complete data extraction of the Doctor. Then they'll analyze his subroutines.
I'm not sure that that's how any of that works. Like if you take out a subroutine, does that mean that you're actually removing it from the doctor to look at it? I just don't think that's how computers work.
Well, I think that might come down to the writers not understanding how computers work.
Yeah.
Plus, couldn't you just pull up the code on screen and read it while the doctor was running?
Yeah.
I mean, B'Elanna was able to do that.
You right-click on him, view source.
Precisely.
Hook up a debugger.
Yes.
Boom.
As the Romulans start the extraction, they begin to choke, and we see a gas is being deployed, and they all collapse. Then the EMH materializes and starts telling the doctor a dramatic story. Trapped alone in the Jeffries tubes, nowhere to run, EMH2 had to improvise. Apparently, he tricked the computer into thinking there was a ship-wide biohazard with contamination on all decks, and the ventilation system opened automatically, so he deployed the gas.
Nice.
Although, if there was a biohazard and contamination on every deck, wouldn't you want to close the vents to stop the biohazard and contamination from spreading?
Well, if it's already spread to the whole ship, then you got to vent it somehow. The whole thing.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be pulling air out rather than putting putting it in?
Yeah. Well, but it could have done both.
Oh.
Could have sucked it out, but then tried to refresh it.
And that's where you put the gas in.
And that's when it put the gas in.
Okay.
Although, if they had shown that, if all of a sudden the oxygen had been sucked out, we would have lost the drama of what they did do.
True, yes.
And also with his dramatic story, when he comes in, he just grabs the Romulan commander and just throws him on the floor. Yeah. It's very funny.
It's not the last time that will happen. Well, the EMH does seem to be as full of himself as the Doctor.
Yes, it's the same drama chip.
The Doctor does get a good dig in, though, telling the EMH to, why not keep a personal log? Why bore others needlessly?
Well, that is the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes.
If we go back to Year of Hell, episode 1, remember where the Doctor was giving the speech in astrometrics and he would not stop?
Yes.
Very similar vibe.
See, it's so much base programming shared between the two.
Right.
The EMH throws up a small problem now. The ship is a secret prototype. There are only 4 people in all of Starfleet trained to operate it. And apparently an entire crew of Romulans, too.
Yeah. Well, though they were struggling, too. Because at one point they said that. Because they were supposed to mask their signal. And one of the Romulans said, we haven't figured out how to operate the ship yet, so we didn't do that. So I think they covered themselves with that.
Okay. Now on the bridge, they're only 8 minutes from the Romulan border. And this was the second time where the grab of Romulan just moved them out the way.
And just throw them to the floor.
This great thud as they hit the floor.
Yep.
Now at the helm, the Doctor is trying to figure it out. Plus, the other EMH is utterly unhelpful.
Mm-hmm.
He remembers something that Tom did. A slight overload to the nacelle coils, causing the warp field to collapse, which actually works, and the ship stops.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the warp core is about to overload. This was a bit of a red herring as the Doctor stops it basically immediately.
Yeah.
And on to the next problem. 3 Romulan warbirds on an intercept course. I do kind of like here in the story how they're sort of piling one thing on top of the other.
Yes.
They're sort of making this rolling ball of this happens, now this, now this. So I think the pacing is very good.
What episode? That happened on Deep Space Nine, right? With when Jake and Nog were trying to get a shuttle working or something, remember? And Nog just starts saying, fire phasers, fire all weapons.
Oh.
And Jake is like, I don't know how to do anything on this ship. It was an early one before Nog was in Starfleet. You know what? It was the season ender where we first met the Jem'Hadar, because Jake and Nog managed to get back to the shuttle while Sisko's still trapped on the planet. The camping episode that you hated.
Oh.
It's that one.
Yeah, the camping episode. I put a lot of that one out of my mind. We return to Voyager. B'Elanna is informing Janeway they're boosting their signal to get through the aliens jamming, and the armored alien appears on the view screen again. Janeway tries explaining, but the Hirogen aren't interested, and tries jamming the link again as Janeway attempts to negotiate. But on screen, we suddenly see the alien appear to be electrocuted. Janeway asks what happened, and a completely flat Seven tells her, I generated a feedback surge along our sensor link. A shocked B'Elanna asks, you killed him? And Seven replies, it was a mild shock. He will recover. Finally telling Janeway, he wasn't responding to diplomacy.
That was very funny.
There is an awesome, shocked and surprised look on Janeway's face here. And then she just tells Seven, just keep watching for the Doctor. I think this might be the first instance of Seven's real independence of action compared to the rest of the crew.
That's true.
A really different way of thinking. You could say that happened a bit in The Raven, but there she was acting on Borg programming. And here, I feel this is the first time we see Seven. I saw a logical opportunity to resolve the issue and I took it. And I like that a lot. And Mulgrew's reaction to it was the wonderfully pragmatic Janeway. Oh, you did that. I suppose I should probably be annoyed, but, keep on doing it. You're fine.
Yeah, neither one of them told her she shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
They're both like, oh, great. And just kept going. Like, nobody said, that's not how we do things in Starfleet.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, good job.
Well, B'Elanna congratulates Seven, saying, not bad. And Seven actually replies, thank you. And see, I think Seven just needs a primer or an explanation for her to change her behavior.
Yeah.
The Borg are all about the collective, so there's no reason that with correct prompting, Seven couldn't adhere to the Starfleet norms and niceties.
Well, and I know I've said it before, but it's frequently about the why.
Yeah.
It's just respectful treatment of others so that you can work together. That's all.
Yeah, and that's all you'd probably really need to say to Seven.
Mm-hmm.
Get Tuvok to explain how you operate within a human crew, because he understands yes, it might not be logical, but it's important.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we return to the B story with Tom and Harry. They're now trying to get another EMH program, and it starts up and looks just like the Doctor. Nice reference here, as Harry mentions the EMH has been programmed with Leonard McCoy's comparative alien physiology. Unfortunately, none of this works. Harry's recreation just starts quoting medical text and is not actually useful. The program starts to glitch, and Harry reports it's overloading, and the hologram just fades out. The scene ends with Harry just handing Tom Grey's Anatomy and telling him he's going to need to read that. And that, fortunately, is the end of the B story.
Yep.
Meanwhile, in the Alpha Quadrant, we see 3 classic Romulan warbirds closing in on the Prometheus. 2 minutes to interception, and the Doctor and the EMH have to figure out how to get their ship moving. But before they figure it out, the Romulan hails. The Doctor tries to distract them, but the Romulans aren't convinced and start firing.
He's like, we're fine. How are you?
Oh, it was absolutely that conversation, yes. I notice here, as soon as the Romulans fire one shot, their shields drop to 20%. So, how come the next shot, or the shot after, didn't just totally destroy them?
I don't know.
I'm guessing maybe the EMH, which figured out how to turn the shields on, actually managed to keep them going somehow. Have to headcanon that a little bit.
Yeah.
Things get worse as 3 more ships are approaching, and the Doctor reports they're Starfleet. Unfortunately, they start firing on the Prometheus too, and there's a little humor as the EMH says, they must think there are Romulans on board. And the Doctor shouts back, they're right. That was kind of funny.
That was very funny. Yes, they were on board.
Into a space shot, and we see 2 Defiant-class ships, plus an Akira starship. And I had to look up the Akira starship because I wasn't sure which model it was. But fortunately, somebody has detailed like every scene and every ship.
Of course.
It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's now a full space battle, as the Starfleet vessels fire on both the Romulan warbirds and the Prometheus. See, this is what I think Starfleet should have been doing. Flooding the zone with Defiant-class ships. I mean, build like thousands of them. How well are the Jem'Hadar going to survive against the improved version of the Defiant?
Yep.
Back to the space battle. The Doctor and EMH can't contact the Federation vessels. The Romulans on board had scrambled the comms frequencies. Very convenient there.
Mm-hmm.
Which also raises the question of how exactly did the Doctor...
How did they do that? Mm-hmm.
Yes, transfer if they'd scrambled all the comms.
Uh-huh.
There's a bit of a joke here where the EMH delivers some great technobabble and the Doctor asks, in English? To which the EMH replies, I'm just reading what it says here.
Yeah.
Isn't that something of an in-joke with the actors having to read some of the technobabble and saying they have no idea what it means?
I think so.
The Doctor tries to get the ship moving and sends the EMH to tactical, telling him to find the button that says fire and push it. And what's funny is when the EMH presses the console, the whole thing flexes.
Oh, I noticed that. I rewound it to watch that a couple times. Yeah, it's like, did you guys know your console was made out of plastic?
We could headcanon this. I mean, it's a prototype vessel. A lot of it could be bodged together, and this might have been low bid.
Maybe. But again, do you send that out into deep space?
The EMH does fire a torpedo and successfully manages to hit one of the Starfleet vessels.
That made me laugh. I'm like, oh no.
Another hit takes everything offline as the Doctor reports 2 warbirds coming right at them. And the EMH replies, "My brilliant existence cut short."
Mm-hmm.
While lamenting, the EMH accidentally presses the helm and we hear initiating decoupling sequence. The computer asks for the attack pattern and target, and both of them say, "Romulans."
But when they asked for the pattern, I did like how the doctor did what I would have done, which was go, "Alpha?"
Yes.
That was funny.
More space battles with some triumphant music, which seems kind of oddly out of place here.
I'm telling you, the music is weird in this episode.
Yeah. The 3 separate sections of the Prometheus all target a warbird, destroying it immediately, and the others flee. The 2 holograms, because they both share the same base code, congratulate each other on their courage, and it starts to sound like one of the Doctor's holo novels. 2 heavily armed Starfleet crew beam across, and the Doctor welcomes them to the Prometheus, adding, "It's about time."
But we forgot here that we turned off life support a few minutes ago.
Oh, that was everywhere but the bridge. Back to Voyager, and 7 reports she's receiving a transmission from the network, and it's the Doctor. In sickbay, he rematerializes and reports he did it. He completed the mission. He tells Janeway he spoke directly with Starfleet headquarters and informs them officially Voyager was lost 14 months ago. He filled Starfleet in on everything that happened to the crew, and they won't stop until they find a way to get Voyager back home. And the Doctor has a message for them. They want you to know you're no longer alone. And Janeway replies, 60,000 light years seems a little closer today. The end.
Well, over analysis?
We can start with Hirogen security on their comms relay is pretty bad.
Yeah, they got one guy
running this giant network that covers hundreds of light years from the look of it.
That's why it took him so long to figure out somebody was using it. He looks at it one at a time. Like he doesn't, he has no observability going. He just has to check one screen at a time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
To increase shareholder value, they only have one person monitoring it.
Yeah, very similar. He actually has to fly from one station to the next and look at it.
Man, I bet he hates his job.
Yeah, that would be a terrible job.
I was thinking seriously that maybe Voyager is more advanced, so can easily break into it.
Oh, yeah.
This system, although it's vast, might not necessarily be very complex, especially because it suffers from degradation of signal between the nodes.
Well, it was maybe made for something else, and maybe it works fine for what it was made for. Or they also conquered someone else and took their technology. It really is ancient.
Yeah, so none of this is theirs. They're just using it.
Yeah.
It does fascinate me, especially as how vast it was.
Yeah.
The amount of resources you would need to build something like that.
And it's interesting that Seven found it with the astrometrics lab, but also, with her working a different kind of shift and also not being distracted by any human interaction. She's sort of the AI that they have on the ship.
Well, plus she makes a reference here of saying she can go 3 days without needing to regenerate.
Right.
I mean, that would give you an enormous amount of focus on a problem.
Yeah.
Next thing. Didn't you think the Romulan commander was going to be a changeling?
No, never crossed my mind.
Really? When he said, we're not going to Romulus, we're going to rendezvous with the Tal Shiar, my thought was, is he a changeling? Is this going to be a ruse to get the ship into the hands of the Dominion?
No, never crossed my mind. I guess because the changelings didn't figure into these shows except for Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
And then a little in Picard, right? But it really wasn't part of any of the other shows.
Yeah.
So no.
Well, it was an Undiscovered Country movie.
Yeah, but was she in the Dominion?
We don't know.
Dominion hadn't been invented yet.
We just knew she was a changeling.
Yeah. No, it never crossed my mind.
That's impossible. The Dominion have been around for thousands of years.
The one problem with the changelings is it's too strong of a villain, right? So
yeah. The gas wouldn't have worked on them. Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't that.
You would have had to figure something else out to disable the changeling. Yeah.
You'd have had to get that box from that episode where they put Odo in a box.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty easy. Next thing. So, the Holo Doctor could take command if the captain was unfit for duty, if you remember. That happened in Year of Hell Part 2. So couldn't the Holo Doctor take control of the ship's computer? Or is this unique to the Doctor on Voyager?
They may have given the Doctor on Voyager more access.
Because he's effectively the chief medical officer.
Right.
Okay.
And because he has evolved beyond his original programming.
True. Yeah.
Which is maybe reason to revoke his access, not give him more. But he just might have more access, is my point, yeah.
Because, I was wondering why you wouldn't necessarily have a hologram as an emergency device. But I guess the holo program could be a less secure backdoor to taking control of the ship.
Right.
If you gave them that level of access normally.
Correct. Because really, at some point, there should be fail-safe systems that don't allow it to be taken over and taken to Romulan space. There should be something where the ship just goes, nope, and just reverts to home.
Computer, take us to Romulus. Self-destruct initiating.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well, especially on a prototype, you would think you would want to have something.
Exactly, especially on a prototype, yeah.
And my final thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can transfer a holomatrix across this network, what about a transporter stream?
Can we just do one person at a time?
Yeah.
I don't know. If they can send the entire hologram across, which they keep saying is like too big to download or whatever, then why couldn't you send a person?
Right. I believe that might be a hand wave.
Yeah. Yeah, the tagline of this episode should just be hand wave. None of this makes any sense. Hand wave.
Leading on from that, I think my final point is, if they can send the Doctor back, then Starfleet could program the Doctor with everything that's happened since Voyager was lost.
Well, one of my overanalysis points is, did the Doctor share anything with them? Because they didn't have time to tell him what to say when he got there.
Yeah.
I mean, did he tell them which crew members were no longer alive? Or now do all of those family members think, my wife, husband, son, daughter, whatever is coming back? It's like, no, they died in episode 2.
I would assume, because the Doctor has complete medical histories of everybody on the ship, he would know everybody who's alive and dead.
Well, hopefully that's what happened, because otherwise it's cruel.
Oh, God, that would be horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, okay, again, science.
Yes.
How could they add to his programming and send him back? Did they send the whole program? I guess they did.
Yeah.
And how, if the signal degraded, did he end up there 100% and then back 100%? Season 1 Voyager, what would have happened is he would have gotten back and everything that had happened would have been erased from his memory. And he would have been like,
funny. Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened.
There might have been Romulans. I can't remember.
I feel like I saw a Romulan. That was remember, season 1 would just kill your hope.
Yes.
Season 4, it's like, maybe.
We're going to make you think it's going to be fine.
This is the kind of thing that I really don't like about this episode. Like, that last scene, like, what happened? What did you learn? What are you telling us? I don't get it.
This is where you could have dropped the whole Tom and Harry comedy hour.
Yes.
And either expanded Seven and B'Elanna,
or
put in a summary of what actually happened.
Yeah. I don't want to give my rating. I guess I don't even know what my rating is at this point, but why did we lean so much into the comedy when this is like a historic moment in Voyager's history?
It's also probably a historic moment in Starfleet history if you're transmitting a signal 60,000 light years.
Right.
That's kind of a big deal as well, isn't it?
But apparently not. People are going to be mad that I'm complaining, but we lost the plot in this episode. I don't get it. I did quite like the hints of future things to come, like the Hirogen.
Yes.
Little flash of Hirogen.
Yep.
Because I know they have a bigger role to play. Reminded me a bit of the Kess episode, right? Where they talked about Year of Hell, which was going to happen in the future. I really like that about Voyager.
I'll say this now, the Hirogen are a great villain. They are the opposite of how bad the Kazon were.
Yeah, it's sort of like you get what you wish for by being like, the Kazon were terrible, we need a better villain. And it's like, oh no, these guys are scary. Yeah, the Hirogen, that was one of the trivia questions in the little trivia game we did at work recently where they tried to fool me with Star Trek.
Nice.
And it's like the only thing I failed on, and I'm still mad about it, was I couldn't remember the name of the diviner. That's just age. That's nothing else.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I did kind of like the diviner. He was a grade A villain.
Well, speaking of Prodigy, this episode has a lot of Prodigy vibes.
Yeah.
If you think about what goes on the bridge, where they don't know what buttons to press to fire the weapons, and
right.
they, and they're just like, there's one, the part where he separates the thing into whatever it is, the multi-vector thing. He basically just put his hand on the console and then it happened. And that happens in Prodigy. There's a very Prodigy feel, I thought, to the two holograms on the bridge, as it was to the kids on the bridge of Prodigy. And I just thought that was really awesome, because that was also a prototype.
Yeah, there were some similar vibes between the two.
It's rare that I analyze something that you didn't think of. And that really, to me, was a connection between Prodigy and Voyager. And I thought that was cool. The only other thing in my overanalysis is I liked how the EMH2 was as proud of his own genius as the EMH1 always is. And he was also equally as dramatic. I found that to be very funny.
Well, he has that great line, "My brilliant existence cut short." That is 100% something the Doctor would say.
Very much the Doctor.
I think we could add another overanalysis point that obviously the base code of these two is very similar. That if you were writing even the EMH2, maybe they were just taking the same source code and then enhancing it, putting a different skin on the thing, a different look to the Doctor. So much of it would be based on the original Zimmerman program.
Right. It's too bad they didn't either use the same actor for the Doctor or they didn't use Bashir.
Oh, right.
Because remember, they were considering using him until they found out he was augmented or whatever. But still, that I think would have been really good here.
What got me about Bashir wasn't that really petty? I mean, he's not actually Bashir. It doesn't matter if he's an augment or not.
Right. He's just a hologram.
He's just a hologram. It's just the physical look of the guy. It seemed needlessly petty. Yeah.
I think there was a lot of pettiness in that. And maybe that was kind of the point. There was a lot of pettiness around the dislike of the augments.
Yeah, that's true.
We've already talked about my other stuff, but I'll just reiterate the dislike between Seven and B'Elanna, or at least B'Elanna towards Seven, just feels like a stereotype and lazy writing. And I do sort of feel like that's a frequent problem with the writer involved in this episode. But it also is just sort of the way things have been for a long time. So it's just not groundbreaking to sort of repeat that trope. I just think we can do better. So in Janeway's leadership corner, these are things too that we already talked about. I think the message that B'Elanna wants to get across to Seven is not a bad one, what she's trying to do. I just think the right way to do it using leadership is to work from the why and with specific examples. If you come in as just a criticism, you're rude, people don't like you. I have had people say that to me as a leader or a manager or whatever level in different organizations where I've had somebody say to me, "Oh, that person is terrible. Everybody thinks so." I lose my mind when people say stuff like that to me. It's like, okay, and what are you doing to change that? Is usually my reaction to that. That makes me so mad. It's like, oh, okay, great. Everybody hates that person. Thanks so much for that. What are you doing about it? Rather than coming to me to complain. And that's kind of what this felt like. It's like, no, you need to be part of the solution, especially since you are the chief engineer. What are you doing to solve the problem? Bitching to Chuckles is not the answer. You already tried that. It's not that you shouldn't tell your manager or whatever in this case he is, but just going there and just complaining. That's why I said at the beginning, I'm like, Chuckles is not wrong. He's just like, I am sick of you complaining. You are an adult. Go fix it.
Yeah.
Now, the better way, of course, would have been for him to help her understand how to do that, which he did not do. And maybe he does not know.
This is my point from the beginning, which is he doesn't give her direction on how to handle it.
Yes.
And the question would be, how well trained is B'Elanna in handling personal problems? She's a Klingon. Klingons handle personal problems by pulling out bath lats and at least drawing blood from one of the two people.
Yes. No, I agree. It's his job to make sure she knows how. And I've certainly made that mistake, too, of telling somebody to just handle something. And then I've gone, oh, my God. And they just made it worse.
Yeah.
And I should have sat down and walked them through it. Sometimes you get a little tired of having to explain to people how to act like an adult. but that is a big part of leadership. It's like everything you say is important. And the way you say it is important. And someone should have told her that. In the end, it seemed like they kind of made some progress.
Yes.
Probably because Seven is not a normal person. She's not particularly sensitive. But still, it would have been better for both of them to have a more leadership-forward conversation.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of leadership in this episode is when she zaps the guy, and both B'Elanna and Janeway are like, great. And they just move on.
I really like that because I think
that was funny.
This is the wonderfully pragmatic Janeway that she's turned into.
Yep, totally.
It sounds terrible, almost the ends justify the means.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's not quite that bad.
No, she can be. She can be. I think, her making the alliance with the Borg shows that she can be that.
Yeah.
But, then she slides back into the Starfleet-y Janeway sometimes as well. But this is the pragmatic Janeway. Exactly. She's just like, great, problem solved. Keep going. Yeah, and so far, so good. But we might see some repercussions later.
Oh, yeah. There will be repercussions.
Well, that's all I have. So let's go to rating. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or neutral. What is your rating?
Okay. This is one of those episodes that it hasn't necessarily aged badly, except for who the guest star was.
Correct.
And it suffers from that. It's a tough one to give a rating to because, it's the classic line of separate the art from the artist. However, if I look at the episode, I think overall I did actually enjoy it. There was a lot of good space battles. The Doctor was really good. I love Janeway's pragmatism in this one. It just squeaks a thumbs up, but not a ringing endorsement. And the B story was pointless.
The B story was a total waste of time. The B.5 story should have been better. I feel like I'm supposed to like this episode, and I think it gets a pretty good rating, like an IMDb in different places where you can look at what people rate the episodes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a thumbs down, and I'm going to do it for a bunch of reasons.
Okay.
One of them is, yes, can you separate the art from the artist? I can't separate the art from the registered sex offender. I can't. I find him really difficult to watch. And so that one is tough.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm sure we didn't know anything about him. Maybe I had a completely different opinion. I don't know.
Well, you used to watch news radio back in the day, didn't you?
Yeah, I like news radio. I don't think I was devoted to it.
Yeah. But
I watched it. But that affects the way I watch it, especially with the sort of weird conversation he has with the doctor about having sex. And that's a lot to deal with. And yeah, the B story with the Harry and the fake doctor was a total waste of time. You could have leaned more into the thing with Neelix trying to prepare himself because all of a sudden he might get to Earth, right?
Yeah.
Or you could have leaned more into the leadership story with Seven and B'Elanna. You could have done a lot of different things and you didn't, and that was just a kind of a colossal waste of time. And then there are the hand waves. There are so many hand waves. Now, I get it. We have to accept hand waves as part of Star Trek because it's not real science. I do understand that. But it really did feel like there was a lot of that just to sort of put the doctor into that situation. I feel like some simple things could have been done about it. Like there could have been some problems with his signal, anything. But instead, we just sort of hand waved through a bunch of things. I did like that we gassed the Romulans because I've been saying for I don't know how many seasons, let's gas everybody. So I did appreciate that.
I would have preferred venting, but I'll take the gas.
Right. But maybe the last reason is maybe the biggest one.
Yeah.
Which is this should have been an absolute turning point of emotions in this episode. And Star Trek can be so good at emotions. There is none in this episode. It is played for comedy. We have talked a few times about even when Kate Mulgrew's character, even when Janeway is not the main actor or the main character in the story, she is still 100% Janeway. That is not true in this episode. There is no way that Janeway's entire reaction to what's happened is what she showed in that very last scene, based on everything else we've seen about Janeway. It was just like, oh, cool.
A little bit closer home.
Yeah, 60,000 light years just feels a lot closer. what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What happened to the heart of this whole thing? That she walked through fire, right? Because she would not let Voyager go without a fight. She has done everything she can, ridiculous things, to try to get this crew home.
Yeah.
And that was her reaction? I just thought it fell so flat at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it? Thumbs down.
Wow. I think I'm easily swayed by space battles.
But the space battles weren't even that great. It's like, oh, we separated the ship into 3 pieces, one shot, boom, over. And then when they had the second battle, we didn't even see it.
We had some Defiant class ships. And
Yeah, that's why you liked it. You saw Defiant.
I liked the look of the Prometheus. It had 4 warp nacelles. It was kind of cool.
It's hard to know how I would have felt about it if it had been a different actor.
Yeah.
I don't know, but if they redo it and put Tig Notaro in it, I will rewatch it.
The AI edited version.
Yeah, but that won't change the total lack of emotion, which is highly disappointing. Oh, I'm going to get emails about this one. That's fine. Well, that wraps up Season 4, Episode 14, was it?
Yes.
Then come back next week for Episode 15. In the meantime, if you'd like to send us your own overanalysis of this or any episode, or if you just want to say something nice, you can email us at rebingeit@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us or follow us at the very least on the socials. We are on Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube at ReBingeIt. Or you can join the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Star Trek TTM podcasts.
Thanks for joining us on the ReBinge Star Trek Voyager podcast.
That's it for me.
And that's it from me.